Happy good evening. This is Brian from Zenful Mindings, and I dare say that I have and will be opening up a giant can of worms here. I have struggled to make this video over and over and over again, and I cannot, for the life of me, keep it relatively short. I'm going to try again, but there's so much that I want to include on this topic. I'm just going to have to keep it to the point, but know that there is likely more to come on here. So we're going to get down to cultural norms versus generational coping mechanisms versus unnaturalizing humans. So I was reading this book, How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera, who's the holistic psychologist, if you follow on social media. And I was reading the other day this passage about how people tell kids not to cry, which struck a very deep resonating chord in my soul and my heart. I am sure that many of you can understand that. I've heard that a lot in my childhood in some form or another. We hear other adults say it. Sometimes I find those words in some form slipping out of my mouth, and I'm very sensitive to it, right? That particular kind of phrase. But we also do that same thing to adults, right? We hear that, whether it's not the time and place for that, or that's not really this isn't really the right setting, or that's really not the way you should be reacting to that. Whatever it is, it comes in a variety of phrases. Choose your own adventure with that. But we are essentially telling each other to not feel the way you feel and don't express it the way you're expressing it. This comes from feeling uncomfortable, from disagreeing with someone's emotion or choice of expression, to just not understanding it, not being able to be like empathetic and compassionate, or not having time for it. That's also a thing. There's so many things that happen. But here's the message that comes across. Very likely, and follow me here. And this even happens when we're, from the kindness of our hearts, we're saying, there, don't cry. We're trying to console somebody. The message, when this is repeated over and over, that we get is, don't trust your feelings. They're not correct. Don't express them like that. Shove it deep down inside and don't ever look back. It's not correct. Nobody wants to hear that. You should be ashamed for feeling that. And that list goes on and on and on and on and on. And I know that many of you out there can identify with feeling like that on the inside. How many of us have thought that we want to talk to somebody about something, but we don't want to do it because we feel like a burden? We feel like a burden for having our feelings and then wanting to express them. These are the kinds of adults we turn into when we hear phrases like that as children. And then it keeps getting layered on as adults when we do it to other adults. It's this generation to generation to generation trauma that we keep inflicting on ourselves under that guise of cultural etiquette and situational comfort. And it's just not right. It is doing so much more harm than good. So much more harm than good. And it's okay to feel uncomfortable or to not know what to do when somebody's having a feeling. But it is not okay to tell someone that they're not feeling the right thing, that they don't have the right to feel their feelings. It's just not okay. We can't afford that as humans. We just can't afford that. I talked a while ago in a video about how wild animals know that they need to like discharge this energy when they have it. And so do we. As children, we absolutely do. We know that when we're upset, crying loudly, stomping, those sorts of things make us feel better because they're discharging this energy. And here we are, adults, right? Trying to stop children from doing those things because we don't feel that they're the right things to do. Whereas instead, can we take the stance to teach healthy, safe coping mechanisms that are productive, or in a way that we can see them as productive. And I don't see, first of all, personally, why crying is not productive. So I'll take my daughter for an example. She gets really upset sometimes, and on really good days, I sit there with her and just let her cry about whatever it is. We can't go to the playground. We're not having ice cream for dinner. The cat didn't want to play with her. I don't know, anything that makes her so upset, right? First of all, it is her whole world. She's 3 years old. That's a big deal. So I sit with her, I let her cry, or I give her space so she can go cry herself. I let her stomp off to her room, whatever it is. And those times that I am able to do that, it lasts a shorter amount of time. She comes back when she has gotten it all out and she says, Mama, I'm not sad anymore, or Mama, I'm not mad anymore. And she's able to identify her feelings. She can talk to me about what happened. So now we're calmed down. We can have a conversation, use it as a learning experience, and move forward. And she's not shoving it down in her body to have to heal from it later. It's just so beneficial, right? And I think about these adult-isms, right, that we have learned because of things like this, right? Like that it's not proper to cry at work or out in public or whatever it is. And it's not right to go play like a child when you're almost 40 years old or whatever it is. Today, it was raining so hard where I was at, and all my daughter wanted to do was go play in the rain. And usually, like, I'm super down for that. And she was like running around, and I ran with her for a little bit, and we got like a little wet. But for some reason, like, my stuffy adult inside of me said, okay, that's enough. You don't want to get too wet. It's water, it's rain. I don't even know when that started happening. I used to love to play in the rain. And my daughter kept running out in the rain. I kept trying to like herd her back under this cover to like wait until the rain keeps going. And she's like, Mom, I just want to play in the rain. And she's looking up at me and the rain's coming down. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to play in the rain too. Like, what happens that we teach ourselves that that's not okay to pause and play in the rain? What is more important? Absolutely nothing. So we played in the rain and we got soaking wet and it was beautiful, and my stuffy adult shut up. And it felt really, really good. So this particular video, this bottom line, I guess, that I want to leave you with is, where is that need coming from to like stop somebody from expressing something that we seem to think is wild and raw and scary and uncomfortable? Why is it that we really want to shut that down? Can we stop shutting it down? And if we can't stop shutting it down, can we allow ourselves to butt out of that situation so we don't harm another human being? Those are big questions for this short video. I still didn't keep this as short as I wanted, but this is way better than before. So please like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Thank you for your patience and attention. And please, next time it downpours, go play in the rain.